And so Rachel was sitting on the camel bag of her saddle where she had hidden the gods, and she said she couldn't get up. And so Laban searched her tent and didn't find anything. But the story I'm going to talk about also has an incredible drama unfold. And it actually starts with another woman, Deborah, who's a prophetess. And she tells, God tells her, tell Barak that I'm going to deliver King Jabin into your hands, and you need to gather 10,000 men and go out and meet his commander, Sisera, and you'll win this battle. But indeed, Barak says, if you don't go, I'm not going. And so Deborah says to him, okay, I'll go, but the honor is not going to you. God will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. And so a few paragraphs more, we see that indeed they're having victory in battle, and Sisera runs really for his life, hiding or to escape. And what I find so interesting about this story is that God said, I'm going to deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. And sometimes when I think of God doing something, doing that deliverance, I think, well, it's just like case closed. But when you hear the courage that and the actions that Jael had to take to have victory, you'll think twice. And so here I can just imagine Sisera's coming, and he must not, I don't know. I mean, does he look like a warrior in distress, possibly blood on his clothes? He's coming, and Jael goes out of her tent and meets Sisera and says, come, and invites Sisera into her tent. And even, I mean, just that act itself. And then she covers him up with a blanket, and he says he's thirsty, and she offers him milk from a skin, and then covers him back up. He falls asleep exhausted, and she sneaks over, takes a tent peg and a hammer, and hammers it into the temple of his head. And it says that it went through the temple of his head and into the ground. And so that story, I'm thinking, would I be able to do something like that? And because, we might think as mothers, if we were in a situation where our children were at risk, like I said, the mama bear would come out, and but in this situation, we're talking about a military situation here, and I don't know what she recognizes, but it does seem like the Spirit of God was on her and gave her the courage to do this great thing. And indeed, King Jabin was defeated. Sisera was killed, and that was his commander in army, and that thus started the victory. And so, but the interesting thing, when I looked, I thought, Lord, what is in this story? And so the name Deborah means bee. And then there's some debate about that, because that seems like, well, does it mean busy or working, but then the name, and some allude to, well, bees produce honey, and they talk about honey. And then the name Jael means ibex, or like an ibex mountain goat. And so when I thought about that, I thought, wow, okay, the bee representing the honey, and the ibex goat representing the milk. And especially because of all things, she offers Sisera, she gives him milk from a skin. And so I thought, isn't this a picture of the goodness, the land flowing with milk and honey in this story? I mean, I still don't have the full, it's just kind of a little insight into what might be happening, because it really is, you have to think, this is, and especially right here in this one chapter, it's in Judges 4, to have these two really powerful women, to have Deborah and to have Jael. And so I just want to encourage each of you, actually, I did want to say one other thing. I also found that the name Sisera, it actually means he discerns. And so I thought that was very interesting, because especially because of this place, the temple, which I did look, it says that it's where kind of four of the bones are fused together.